Today we are starting with our answer writing classes, and before we start, one thing that you will have to keep in your mind is that whenever you are preparing, you are going to use a sample answer writing sheet. This is going to be the gold standard in your preparation as long as medical science is concerned. Why am I saying it? I'll show it to you later on. Because first thing is that in medical science you have to write a lot, and then you have to adjust diagrams in between. So until unless you don't practice on sample answer writing sheets, there it will be a lot of trouble for you to replicate the answers in a perfect way when it comes to exam. And at that time there is so much speed, so much hurry. If you have not begun this practice earlier on, or if it's not in your muscle memory, then it's going to create trouble for you. Number two is that if you have content, then we are not going to use too many fillers. I will show you in the meanwhile. And the third thing, the third and the most cardinal rule is that you are going to answer each and every part. See, in GS type papers, if you miss one or the other part and your other part of the question you have written is very impressive, so examiner may overlook once in a while. But in medical science, this is not going to happen. The moment you miss a part, you are going to lose marks, and that is guaranteed. Nobody can take it away. Now coming to this question, like describe the stomach under following headings: location, external features, arterial supply, clinical anatomy. So it's a 10 marker question, so I'm considering it will be 2 pages, right? Let me add another page. Now you have to write a lot in this answer. Now what I'm saying is we have enough content. The first thing is that you have to judge is that if it's a content heavy question, then the first ghanti that must ring in your mind is that you are going to write a definition which is very short. You are not going to use more than 1 or 2 lines in the definition. So here we write stomach is the muscular bag involved in storage as well as digestion of food. If you want to add more, you can simply write it here as stomach aka gaster. So this may look a little better. Then if you go in above, you see the first thing it is asking about location. Now you can either simply write that it lies obliquely in upper and left portion of abdomen, but this will fetch you less marks until and unless you are very specific that it occupies epigastric, umbilical and left hypochondrial region. The second thing, so with this your first part is answered. The second thing it asks about is the external features, right? So external features may we start with 2 opening. One is your cardiac orifice, the other one is your pyloric orifice. Then it's better that on the very first page you make a small diagram. This is not a very nuanced diagram, but a very normal diagram just to give an idea to the examiner that you know things. Now here you make a heading that you are going to discuss about the 2 openings. One will be your cardiac orifice, the other one will be your pyloric orifice. In cardiac orifice, you are simply going to mention that it is at the level of 7th costal cartilage or T11 vertebra, and your pyloric orifice is at L1 vertebra. Now you just have to mention one other thing. It connects stomach to esophagus. Here it connects it to small intestine. We can write it here only. Now, as you can see, I have done something very subtle. For example, this is how I made my diagram, right? It's a bit bigger. Now I could have done one thing, that I could have gone like this. Cardiac orifice. In this manner I could have gone. Pyloric orifice. But if I would have gone in this manner, then my content would have been obstructed here by the diagram, and I would have to continue here. Then the same thing would have happened with it. I have to continue here, and it would have taken more space downward, and this space would have been empty. This space. So instead of going like this in a vertical fashion, I have taken an approach like this. All right. So instead of going like this, I have taken this approach. And as per my experience, when there is a diagram nearby and you use this approach, it takes more space. When you're in a diagram, if you go like this, it will take more space, and your portion within under the diagram, it is often unutilized. So you better take this approach along with diagram. And one thing very important, since we have made the diagram here, we need to write a small heading. Just simply write diagram of stomach. If it's a diagram like this, if you're making a diagram like this, then you can make relations. Either it is anterior or posterior, then you write stomach. And you can go on with your diagram, which is a very famous diagram. It goes something like this. This transverse colon, stomach is somewhere here like this. So that we'll discuss. And number third, or if we see here, number fourth very important rule is that we will use right color coding scheme. We are not going to deviate too much from the color coding scheme. So this is how we are going to dissect each and every answer when we begin, because there is much to add here. After pyloric orifice, we go to the curvatures, we go to the surfaces, we go to the parts. So I welcome you all. You must come to answer writing classes, and I'll make sure that before prelims itself, you will be having at least 80 to 90% of exam ready answers with yourself. So thank you all.